The Galactic Council Hall was built to feel safe. It was wide and bright, with smooth white floors and tall crystal walls that reflected soft blue light. Every design choice was meant to calm the mind. This was the place where wars ended, borders were drawn, and entire species lived or died by a vote. More than 300 races were present. Some floated, some crawled, some sat on metal thrones shaped for bodies that did not bend like others. All were powerful in their own way. All believed they belonged here. The meeting had been calm so far. That changed when the doors opened. At first, no one reacted. The doors opened often for late arrivals. But then the silence grew heavy, like the air itself had stopped moving. Two figures walked inside. They were tall, upright, walking on two legs. Bipedal. The council's central system reacted before anyone spoke. Red symbols flashed across several data screens. Security drones lifted slightly from their stations, not attacking, but alert. The two beings stopped at the center of the hall. They were humans. Many council members had only seen images of humans, old files, short clips, blurry recordings from distant probes. Seeing them in person was different. Their bodies were dense, their movements were smooth but controlled, like predators that did not need to rush. They wore simple dark clothing, no armor, no visible weapons. That made it worse. A delegate from the Ref Collective leaned toward its translator node. "That is impossible," it whispered. "Deathworlders do not survive long enough to reach this stage." Another species pulled back its feeding tendrils in fear. "Why are they here?" The council chair, an ancient being of crystal and light, raised one glowing limb. "This session did not approve new attendees," it said carefully. "Identify yourselves." The humans did not bow, they did not kneel, they stood still. One of them stepped forward. "We are representatives of Earth," the human said. His voice was calm, not loud, not soft. "We came because it was time." Time for what? No one asked, no one moved. Council scanners ran automatically, they always did, but within seconds, warning tones echoed quietly through private channels. Gravity tolerance, extreme. Bone density, far above galactic average. Pain response, abnormal. Adrenal response, sustained far beyond safe limits. One species shut down its scanner entirely. "This data must be wrong," it said. "No being can live like that." The humans waited. Security drones hovered closer, their weapons tracking every movement. The humans noticed. Their eyes followed the drones, not with fear, but with understanding. They had seen worse. The council chair spoke again. "Earth is listed as a restricted observation world. Your species was not invited to this chamber." The second human smiled slightly. It was not a friendly smile. "That," she said, "is part of the problem." Murmurs spread across the hall. Some delegates activated personal shields. Others began quiet emergency calls to their fleets. The humans did not react. The council chair studied them. Ancient eyes searched for weakness and found none. It said, "State your purpose." The first human nodded once. "We have been making decisions that affect us," he said. "Wars, trade routes, borders, threat classifications." The chair responded quickly. "Earth is not a member world." "We know," the human said. That answer landed hard. A species known for its aggressive diplomacy slammed a limb on its desk. "Then you have no right to be here." The human turned slowly to face the speaker. The movement was small, calm, but every predator in the room felt it. "We survived our planet. We survived ourselves. We earned the right to speak." The council chamber fell into complete silence. The chair raised its limb again, more sharply this time. Earth was marked as unstable. Your world was expected to destroy itself. Yes, the human replied. We noticed you watching. Gasps echoed. Observation worlds were monitored quietly, never openly acknowledged. You knew? A delegate asked. The second human nodded. You left drones in our outer system, old ones, easy to find. Fear spread now, not panic, but something colder. Calculation. The chair shifted its form slightly. Then why now? It asked. Why reveal yourselves? The first human looked around the chamber, at the flags, at the symbols of power. Because something is moving, he said, and you are pretending not to see it. Several council members stiffened. We have reviewed your records, the second human continued. Conflicts you hide, threats you delay, species you sacrifice for balance. A delegate cried out, These accusations are accurate, the human said calmly. The council chair felt something it had not felt in centuries, unease. You are dangerous, the chair said. Your history proves it. The human nodded again. Yes, he said, we are. That was not a denial. That is why we are here, the second human added. Not to threaten you, to warn you. The lights in the chamber dimmed slightly as an automated alert passed through the system. Not an emergency yet, just a signal. Something had changed. The humans stood quietly, waiting. And for the first time in the history of the Galactic Council, every species present understood the same terrifying truth. The danger was not that humans had arrived. The danger was that they had waited this long.
Silence ruled the Galactic Council Hall. Not the calm kind, not the respectful kind. This silence was heavy, thick, and dangerous. It pressed against every delegate, every screen, every floating symbol of authority. The two humans stood at the center, unmoving. They did not rush to speak. They did not explain. They waited. That alone unsettled the council more than threats ever could. The council chair broke the silence at last. You claim to be here as a warning, it said. Explain yourselves, carefully. The first human nodded once. We will, he said, but first you need to understand something. Several delegates leaned forward, others leaned back. Defensive shields hummed softly. We are not here to ask for help, the human continued, and we are not here to beg for entry. The second human spoke next. We are here because your decisions are failing. A sharp sound echoed as one delegate struck its console. How dare you speak to the council this way? The human turned to face the outburst. His voice remained calm. On our world, he said, we learned early that polite lies kill faster than hard truth. That sentence traveled across the hall like a blade. The chair raised its glowing limb. Control your tone, it warned. The human did not argue. Then control your mistakes, he replied. Several council members gasped openly now. The council chair paused. It had ruled empires. It had ended wars with a word. Yet something about these humans made every response feel wrong. Speak, the chair said. What do you claim we are failing to see? The second human activated a small device on her wrist. A projection formed in the air above the floor. Star maps appeared, trade lanes, borders. Then red shadows spread slowly on the display. Many delegates recognized the pattern instantly. No, one whispered. That is impossible. The human nodded. That is what you said last time, too. The council studied the map. These regions are classified, it said. You classified them, the human answered. We studied them. The shadows moved, growing, eating space. A military delegate spoke quickly. Our fleets patrol those areas. Yes, the first human said, thinly, politely, blindly. The word blindly caused visible offense. The second human pointed to a blinking red mark. This is not a raid, she said, not a rebellion, not piracy. Then what is it? The chair asked. The human met its gaze. An extinction-level advance. Fear rippled openly now. One species shut down its audio feed entirely. Another released a stress pheromone that filled the air with sharp bitterness. You have no proof, a delegate said, but its voice shook. The human changed the projection. Live sensor data appeared, movement patterns, energy spikes. Council systems began verifying the data on their own. Confirmation alerts appeared, one by one. The room reacted. Some delegates shouted, some called for emergency votes, some demanded immediate fleet movement. The humans did not move. The chair raised its limb again, slowly this time. If this threat is real, it said, why come to us? The first human answered without hesitation, because when this reaches your core systems, it will already be too late. The second human continued, you are slow because you are comfortable. You vote while enemies prepare. That hit hard. The chair's voice lowered. You speak as if you know war. The human's eyes darkened slightly. We ended our last global war only after we nearly erased ourselves. No one mocked that. We survived because we learned faster than we died. You still believe survival is guaranteed. A military delegate spoke carefully now. What do you want from us? The humans exchanged a brief look. Honesty, the second human said, and permission. Permission for what? The chair asked. To act, the first human replied, when you hesitate. A wave of protest rose instantly. You would attack without council approval? You would violate treaties. You would destabilize balance. The humans let the noise rise, then fall. Balance is a luxury, the second human said. Death does not respect it. The chair studied them in silence. And if we refuse? The first human answered quietly. Then we will still act, but you will not like how late you arrive. That was not a threat. That was a statement of fact. The council systems chimed again. A new alert. Not a projection, not a theory. An outpost had gone dark. Then another. Then 3 more. Live feeds cut out mid-transmission. Screams ended abruptly. The room froze. The chair felt something close to panic, but forced it down. This cannot be coincidence, it said. The second human lowered her device. It never is. For the first time since they arrived, the humans moved closer together. We did not come to scare you, the first human said. Fear wastes time. Then why do we feel it? A delegate asked quietly. The human met their gaze. Because deep down, you know this truth. The room leaned in without meaning to. You built a peaceful galaxy, the human continued, on the belief that danger can be managed. He paused. Danger must be stopped. The council chamber remained silent, and far beyond its walls, something ancient kept moving closer. The council chamber did not return to normal. Even after the alerts faded from the screens, the fear stayed. It clung to the air like smoke after fire. Delegates whispered to each other through private channels. Military leaders sent silent commands to distant fleets. The 2 humans waited. They always waited. The council chair finally spoke. Its voice carried weight, but now there was caution inside it. You call yourselves Deathworlders, it said. Explain what that means. The first human stepped forward. On your worlds, he said, life is balanced, weather is stable,
Predators are limited. Nature gives warnings. He paused. On ours, nature does not care. A low murmur spread. The human continued. Our gravity crushes weak bones. Our storms tear cities apart. Our oceans swallow land without apology. The second human spoke next. And that is before you meet what lives there with us. She activated her device again. Images appeared above the floor. Massive predators with rows of teeth, insects larger than armored vehicles, creatures that hunted in packs, creatures that hunted alone. Several delegates recoiled. "These things share your planet?" one whispered. "Yes," the human replied. "They always have." The projection changed. Now it showed human cities, tall buildings, roads, lights burning against darkness. "You built civilization among them?" the chair asked. The human nodded. "We adapted. We learned patterns. We failed. We lost millions." The room went quiet. "Every step forward cost us blood," the second human said, "and every mistake punished us fast." A military delegate leaned forward. "This does not explain your strength." The human looked directly at the delegate. "It explains everything." The projection changed again. Human soldiers trained under heavy gravity. Human machines tested until they broke. Medical footage of humans surviving wounds that would kill most species. "Pain taught us," the human said. "Fear trained us." The chair studied the data. "Your casualty tolerance is extreme." "Yes," the human replied, "because if we stopped moving every time we were hurt, we would not exist." A council scientist spoke softly. "You should have destroyed yourselves." The second human smiled, but there was no humor in it. "We almost did, many times." The projection faded. Silence returned. The first human folded his hands calmly. "We did not come here because we enjoy being feared." "Then why come at all?" the chair asked. "Because we recognize what is coming," the human said, "and because you do not." The chair shifted. "You believe our fleets are weak?" "No," the human answered. "We believe they are careful." That word landed wrong. "Careful loses wars," the second human added. "We learned that early." A military delegate bristled. "Our fleets are the largest in the galaxy." "Yes," the human said, "and they will still die if used the way you plan." The delegate's voice hardened. "You assume much." The human turned to face the speaker fully. "We assume nothing. We calculate." The second human activated the projection again. A simulated battle appeared. Council fleets faced the approaching threat. Formation perfect. Strategy approved by committee. The result was fast. Total loss. Gasps echoed. "That simulation is flawed," the delegate snapped. The human nodded. "So is your doctrine." The simulation reset. Human strategies overlaid the same scenario. Smaller forces, faster movement, no retreat paths, no negotiation points. The threat was crushed. Silence followed. The chair spoke slowly. "You fight without mercy." The human answered without hesitation. "We fight without delay." The difference mattered. A council elder asked quietly, "Why not destroy the threat entirely now?" The second human looked at the elder. "Because killing something teaches it nothing." The room reacted to that. "We cripple, we isolate, we break supply, we let fear spread." Several delegates stiffened. "That is cruel," one said. The first human shook his head. "No, it is effective." The chair watched them closely. "You speak like predators." The human met its gaze. "We are." The word hung in the air. "But," the human continued, "we are predators who learned restraint." That surprised the room. "We could have expanded by force. We could have taken worlds. We did not." "Why?" the chair asked. because survival taught us something else. If you rule through fear alone, you never sleep. The council absorbed that. A new alert chimed. Another outpost was gone. This time, there was no panic, only tension. The chair raised its limb again. "What exactly are you asking?" The first human answered clearly. "Let us move first." The chair hesitated. "And if you are wrong?" The human did not look away. "Then we die first." That answer changed everything. The second human stepped forward. "We do not fear extinction," she said. "We were born under it." The council chamber fell silent again, not from fear now, from understanding. For the first time, the council saw the truth. Humans were not strong because they wanted to rule the galaxy. They were strong because their world never gave them another choice. And the threat moving toward the stars was about to learn that difference the hard way.
The alert did not scream. It whispered. A single red signal pulsed on the main council display. Slow, steady, certain. Confirmed hostile contact. No debate followed, no speeches, no votes. The Galactic Council froze. Military commanders stared at the data in silence. Fleet officers waited for orders that did not come. The Council had always believed it had time to discuss, time to balance risk. Now, time was gone. The chair finally spoke. "The hostile force has crossed into Council-controlled space." The words felt unreal. A military delegate reacted first. "Deploy the nearest fleets immediately." Commands were sent. Ships began moving, too slowly. The first human watched the displays. His expression did not change. "They will arrive late," he said. The delegate snapped back. "Our fleets are already in motion." "Yes," the human replied, "toward the wrong place." The chair turned sharply. "Explain." The second human activated her device. A new projection appeared. Not a map, not a simulation. Live space footage. Dark shapes moved between stars, not in lines, not in formation. They spread like a sickness, slipping past patrol routes. Several delegates gasped. "They are avoiding engagement," the human said. "They are hunting infrastructure." A communications officer cried out, "Relay stations are failing." Another voice followed, "Supply depots have gone silent." The council chamber filled with noise. The humans remained still. "You see raids," the first human said. "We see preparation." The chair felt something tighten inside it. "What do you suggest?" The human looked directly at the chair. "Let us respond." The room erupted. "You cannot command council forces. You are not members. This violates every protocol." The second human raised her hand, not threatening, not loud. The room quieted. "We are not asking to command your fleets," she said. "We are asking permission to deploy ours." Silence hit harder than shouting. "Your fleets?" the chair asked slowly. The human nodded. "Yes." The chair hesitated. "Our records show limited human space presence." The first human smiled faintly. "Our records are newer." Before the chair could answer, another alert chimed. A border world was under attack. Live feed activated. The council watched cities burn. Energy strikes cut through shields like paper. Defensive platforms failed within seconds. Cries echoed through the chamber. The chair's voice hardened. "Permission granted," it said. "Act." The humans did not celebrate. They moved. The second human tapped her device. Space changed. The live feed split into dozens of new windows. Human ships appeared without warning. No hyperspace flares, no long arrival signatures. They were just there, fast, silent, precise.
"What propulsion is that?" a scientist whispered. The first human answered calmly, "Short-range collapse jumps." The human ships did not form lines, they scattered. Weapons fired, not wild, not loud, targeted. Enemy vessels lost engines, then weapons, then power. The enemy force reacted too late. Human ships did not chase, they cut. Supply ships vanished, command nodes collapsed, communication lines went dark. The council watched in stunned silence. A military delegate leaned forward. "They are not retreating. They are not advancing either," another said. The second human spoke. "They are controlling the fight." On screen, an enemy flagship attempted to flee. A single human ship appeared in front of it. No warning. One strike. The flagship went dark. The feed switched to another sector, another ambush, another collapse. The enemy force began to scatter. The chair felt something unfamiliar. Relief. "How long have you prepared for this?" the chair asked quietly. The first human answered without looking away from the screen. "Since before we left our system." The battle did not last long, not because it was easy, because it was planned. When the final enemy vessel fled beyond sensor range, silence returned to the council chamber. No cheers followed, only quiet understanding. The second human deactivated the projection. "That was a message," she said. "To them?" the chair asked. "To everyone," the human replied. The chair studied the humans carefully. "You could have destroyed them completely." "Yes," the human said, "but then they would learn nothing." The chair lowered its limbs slowly. "You fight like nothing we have ever seen." The human nodded. "We fight like we had no choice." A council elder spoke softly. "What happens now?" The first human turned to face the council. "Now," he said, "they will test you." The room stiffened. "And when they do," the second human added, "you will decide whether to hide behind procedure," she paused, "or stand with us." The council chamber fell silent once more, but this time the silence was different. This time it was not fear, it was anticipation. And far beyond the stars, the enemy was already changing its plans.
The council chamber felt smaller now, not because the walls had moved, but because the truth had. Every delegate understood something had changed. The galaxy they believed they controlled had been defended by outsiders. Two humans from a death world had done what hundreds of votes never could. The council chair broke the silence. "The enemy has withdrawn," it said. "For now." The first human nodded. "They are not done." A military delegate leaned forward. "They fled. That is a victory." The second human shook her head. "No, that is a lesson." The words echoed. "What lesson?" the chair asked. "That you are not helpless," the human replied, "and that we are not reckless." The council processed that slowly. A scientist spoke next. "The enemy changed tactics mid-engagement. They learned." "Yes," the first human said, "which is why we did not finish them." Confusion spread. "Why allow them to escape?" another delegate demanded. The human answered calmly, "Because fear travels faster than destruction." The chair studied the humans. "You speak of fear as a weapon." The second human nodded. "Fear kept us alive long before technology did." Several delegates shifted uncomfortably. A council elder asked quietly, "Is that how you see us now?" The human turned to face the elder fully. "No, that is how we see the universe." The room went still. "We did not survive our world by believing it was fair. We survived by respecting danger." The chair leaned back slightly. "And you believe we do not?" The first human gestured toward the empty battlefields. "You respected process more than survival." That stung. A military commander spoke, slower now.
Our way has preserved peace for centuries. Yes, but peace is not the same as safety. The chair's glow dimmed slightly. You challenge the foundation of this council. The second human met its gaze. We challenge the assumption that control equals understanding. The council fell silent again. A new alert chimed softly. Long-range sensors detected movement. The enemy was regrouping, not attacking, watching. The chair spoke carefully. They are studying us. They always were. You just never felt it before. The council chair straightened. What would you have us do? The human did not answer immediately. Instead, he looked around the chamber, at the many species, at the old power symbols, at the younger worlds watching quietly. You must stop pretending neutrality will protect you, he said. The second human continued. You must choose whether you act together or wait to be divided. A delegate protested. Unity is difficult across species. The human nodded. So is survival. That answer ended the argument. The chair took a long moment before speaking again. If we accept your approach, what does humanity want? The question hung heavy. The first human answered clearly. A voice, not territory, not tribute. A voice in decisions that affect us, he continued, and the freedom to act when delay means death. The council exchanged looks. A junior delegate spoke up, surprising everyone. They saved us. Silence followed. They did not demand anything. They acted, and they stayed. That mattered. The chair considered this. You ask for trust. The second human nodded. Yes. Trust earned how? The chair asked. The human replied softly. By standing where others step back. The council chair turned toward the gathered delegates. A vote is required. No one protested. The vote began. Lights shifted across the chamber. Colors signaled choices. One by one, delegates cast their decisions. Acceptance, partnership, observer status removed. When the final count appeared, the chamber fell quiet, unanimous. The chair faced the humans. Humanity will no longer observe, it said. You will advise. The first human nodded. That is enough. The second human added, for now. A ripple of nervous laughter passed through the chamber. The chair allowed itself a faint glow of amusement. The galaxy will not forget this day. The first human's expression grew serious. Neither will the enemy. Another alert sounded. Enemy movement increased. They are adapting faster than expected, a scientist warned. The second human stepped forward. Then it is time for the next phase. The chair hesitated. There is more? The human met its gaze. There is always more. The council realized then that humanity was not reacting to the crisis. They were managing it. The chair spoke slowly. What is the next phase? The first human answered clearly, making sure the enemy understands something clearly. And what is that? The chair asked. The human's voice was calm. Running does not save you. The chamber fell silent. Fear was still there, but now it stood beside something else, respect. And far beyond the council chamber, the enemy prepared for a war they no longer understood.
The enemy did not attack right away. That alone worried the council. Long-range sensors tracked strange movements. Fleets did not gather in one place. They spread out. Small groups tested borders, defenses, and response times. They were learning. The Galactic Council watched closely, but this time they were not alone. The humans stood beside them. They are probing, the second human said, looking for fear. A military commander nodded. They will find resistance. The first human looked at the tactical display. They will find something else first. What? The chair asked. Certainty, the human replied. Human fleets moved quietly across council space, not in massive formations, not as shows of force. They positioned themselves at key points, supply lines, jump paths, communication hubs. The enemy pushed forward and stopped. For the first time since the threat appeared, the enemy hesitated. A council analyst spoke in disbelief. They are avoiding human-controlled zones. The second human nodded. They learned. Small battles followed, quick, controlled, never total destruction. Enemy ships were disabled and released. Survivors carried stories back. Stories spread faster than fleets. Human ships that appeared without warning. Human crews that did not retreat. Human tactics that turned every mistake into punishment. The enemy adapted and still failed. The council watched with growing understanding. Humanity was not trying to win one war. They were shaping the future. Finally, the enemy made a choice. A single massive fleet moved toward a populated system, a test, a threat. Panic rippled through the council. The chair turned to the humans. "This is it," it said. "They mean to break us." The first human shook his head. "They mean to ask a question." The second human stepped forward. "And we will answer." Human fleets converged. This time they did not hide. They formed a visible line between the enemy and the system. The council watched live feeds as the enemy fleet slowed, then stopped. A transmission request appeared. The room froze. "They want to speak," a communications officer said. The chair looked at the humans. "Your choice." The first human nodded. "Open the channel." The enemy commander appeared on screen, a massive form, armored and scarred. Its voice was harsh. "You fight like predators, but you do not conquer." The human answered calmly, "We conquer outcomes." The enemy paused. "You could destroy us." "Yes," the human replied. "Then why do you not?" the enemy demanded. The second human spoke. "Because if we destroy you, someone worse will learn nothing." The enemy was silent. "You entered a galaxy that learned peace slowly. We come from a world that learned survival the hard way." The enemy lowered its gaze slightly. "What do you want?" The human answered without hesitation. "Leave, do not return, and remember why." The enemy considered this. Then, slowly, its fleet turned away. No cheers followed, only relief. The threat was gone, not erased, stopped. Days passed, then weeks. Trade resumed, borders stabilized, fear faded into memory. The Galactic Council convened again. This time the humans were seated, not at the center, but not at the edge either. The chair addressed the chamber. "The galaxy stands because humanity chose restraint." The first human shook his head. "The galaxy stands because it chose to listen." The council accepted that correction. A young delegate asked quietly, "What happens now?" The second human smiled slightly. "Now you stop pretending danger does not exist." The first human added, "And you stop facing it alone." The council chamber felt different now, stronger. Months later, new species joined the council, young worlds, harsh worlds. They all asked the same question. How did humans become so powerful? The answer spread quietly. They came from a place where survival was never promised, where nature tried to kill them every day, where mistakes were paid for in blood. They learned early, adapt or end. And when they reached the stars, they brought that lesson with them. The galaxy did not become peaceful overnight, but it became careful. Because somewhere in the stars, Deathworlders were watching. Not as rulers, not as gods, but as guardians who remembered what it meant to fight just to exist. and no one in the Galactic Council ever forgot the day two humans walked in calmly and changed everything.